Captain HFY of the Galactic Defense Force had seen many strange things in his 30 cycles of service. He had witnessed the crystal storms of Velthara Prime, the singing forests of Quendar, and even the legendary void whales that swam between stars. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared him for what he was witnessing on the bridge of the human vessel Wanderer. The Krillian apex predator, known throughout the galaxy as the Void Reaper, stood nearly 4 meters tall. Its obsidian carapace gleamed under the ship's lights, and its 6 razor-sharp limbs could slice through reinforced titanium like paper. This creature had single-handedly decimated 3 colonial outposts and left entire fleets of warships as drifting debris. The Galactic Council had classified it as an extinction-level threat, requiring the combined firepower of at least 7 dreadnoughts to even attempt containment. And here it was, making a sound that Captain HFY's translator couldn't quite process, something between a rumble and a purr. "That's it, big guy," said Dr. Sarah Chen, the human xenobiologist, as she reached up to scratch behind one of the creature's 6 sensory stalks. "Who's a good apex predator?" "You are, yes you are." The Void Reaper, the galaxy's most feared killing machine, tilted its massive head and leaned into the human's touch, its deadly limbs folding beneath it in what could only be described as a submissive posture. HFY's 4 eyes blinked in rapid succession, a sign of extreme confusion among his species. "Dr. Chen," he managed to croak, his translator struggling with his bewilderment. "How is this possible? That creature has a kill count in the millions. It's classified as—" "A big lonely kitty cat," Sarah interrupted, now using both hands to scratch the area behind the creature's auditory receptors. The Void Reaper's purr growl intensified, and it actually rolled onto its back, exposing its heavily armored underbelly, a display of absolute trust that no Krillian had ever been documented performing. Commander Torres, the human captain, stepped forward with the casual confidence that seemed to characterize her species. "Zex, my friend, this is exactly why the Council should have consulted humans before declaring this little guy a galactic threat." "Little?" HFY's voice rose an octave. "Commander, that little guy destroyed the Hegemony's flagship last week." "Well, yeah," Sarah said, now rubbing the creature's belly as it made increasingly content sounds. "Because nobody bothered to ask what it wanted. Krillians are pack hunters, Captain. This one's been separated from its family for who knows how long. It's not attacking colonies, it's looking for companionship." The Void Reaper suddenly rolled back over and nuzzled Sarah's shoulder with its massive head, nearly knocking her off balance. She laughed and steadied herself against its carapace. "The scans we ran show it's barely past adolescence for its species," Dr. Martinez, the ship's xenobiologist, added from his console. "In human terms, it's basically a teenager acting out because it's scared and alone." HFY felt his worldview crumbling. The greatest military minds in the galaxy had spent months developing strategies to combat this threat. They had mobilized fleets, evacuated star systems, and prepared for what they believed would be a war for galactic survival. And the humans had resolved the crisis with belly rubs? "This is impossible," he muttered. "The Krillians are emotionless killing machines. They don't form social bonds. They don't—" The Void Reaper suddenly tensed, its head snapping toward HFY with predatory focus. The captain instinctively reached for his sidearm, but Sarah simply placed a calming hand on the creature's flank. "Easy there," she said soothingly. "He's a friend. A very confused friend, but still a friend." To HFY's amazement, the creature relaxed immediately, though it kept one large eye fixed on him. "The problem with galactic xenobiology," Sarah continued, "is that everyone assumes that different means dangerous. Just because Krillians look scary doesn't mean they're monsters. Earth had creatures that looked terrifying too, sharks, wolves, bears, but we learned that understanding beats fear every time." Commander Torres nodded. "Every species develops differently, Captain HFY. Humans learned early that cooperation and empathy were survival traits. We domesticated our predators, befriended our competitors, and even learned to coexist with our parasites. It's not about being the strongest, it's about being the most adaptable." The Void Reaper had curled up next to Sarah now, its massive form somehow looking almost cuddly. She continued scratching behind its sensory stalks, and the creature's contentment was palpable. "So what happens now?" HFY asked, still struggling to process the scene before him. "Now," Sarah said with a grin, "we help our friend here find his family. And maybe the Galactic Council learns that the next time they encounter something they don't understand, they should try asking humans first. We've got a pretty good track record with the whole making friends with scary things approach. The Void Reaper lifted its head and looked directly at Zexhai. Then, in a gesture that would be talked about in xenobiology textbooks for centuries to come, the galaxy's most feared predator slowly bowed its massive head to the human who had shown it simple kindness. As Captain Zexhai watched this impossible scene unfold, he began to understand why the humans had risen so quickly in galactic politics. It wasn't their technology, their military might, or their intelligence. It was something far more powerful, their inexplicable ability to see potential friends where everyone else saw only monsters. The universe, he realized, was about to become a much more interesting place.